Motor City Blitz. I'm your host, Hayden Heilsorn. We are live from my apartment, and I'm coming to you guys after the Lions lost on Thanksgiving Thursday. It is Sunday. The Lions don't play football today, which is okay, so I got no reason to be stressed. I can just sit back and watch the NFL games, just root for certain things to happen that will benefit the Lions in the standings. And yes, I still am on the train where if you're in the hunt, you're in the hunt. Go try to make the playoffs. Does it hurt your draft position? Sure. But as I'm going to get into, the Lions have done great in the draft to get to this point. You might as well reward yourself and reward the fans with a playoff game. I think that's completely reasonable. I'm here to root for wins, to root for team success. I'm not just going to wait until the day where the Lions have the most Super Bowl contender of Super Bowl contenders, if that day ever comes, before I start rooting for this team. No, I'm going to root for this team to get in the playoffs right now because that's all I have. And right now they're 4-7. Would 5-6 be a lot better? Of course it would. But certain things happened. You lost your sixth Thanksgiving Thursday game in a row. I do want to pull my hairs out of the Lions' last possession in that game. It is 3rd and 1 on the Bills' side of the field, and they run a pass play that doesn't connect because Jared Goff he didn't get the ball quite where he needed to on that play. And then it's 4th and 1, and you send your field goal kicker out there who missed a 29-yarder earlier in the game. You trot him out there to kick a 51-yard field goal. He makes it barely, thank God. But 23 seconds on the clock, and you're giving the ball back to Josh Allen. Everybody in the universe, everybody in the world knew that was too much time for Josh Allen. And then one play down the field just they're in field goal territory. And Tyler Bass, great kicker, he puts it through. And we've seen that story just a bajillion times at Ford Field of the Lions losing at the last second. So that was tough to see. That was really tough to see, and I do obviously put a lot of that on Dan Campbell. That you got to make. That was not a bite the kneecaps play at the end to kick that field goal. You're in field goal range. You got the sense of it. Go try to win the game. Get a fresh set of downs. Use your timeouts. Just be cognizant of the fact that 23 seconds is so much time in the NFL. I don't know how coaches just don't wrap their head around like that. Like, no one's going to blame you for going for it on 4th and 1 and not trusting your field goal kicker and going to try to win the game on Thanksgiving Thursday and not allowing Josh Allen to have the ball with 23 seconds. Nobody would have blamed you. I just don't understand how in the moment they don't think about those kind of things. I know in the moment, and I've never put on the headset to be an NFL coach. I know they don't think the way that someone sitting on the couch thinks, but damn, man, like the game was there for you to go win it, and you folded. And, you paid the price. But the Lions led in that game. The Lions played very, very well. They played a hell of a lot better than the Browns did against the Bills just days earlier. So I'm very, very proud of this Lions team. They keep winning games. They keep being competitive in games. And now that they've ran out of time to lose games, they can't lose any more games and still make the playoffs. And I know I shouldn't be that guy that's sitting here rooting for the playoffs, but like I said, I would like to see this team get rewarded for playing well, and I'd like to see some of their players get rewarded for buying in and playing well. It seems like Aiden Hutchinson's a guy that's definitely bought in. He's having a great season. Ali McNeil, second-year defensive lineman, he is having a fantastic run here on this win streak. He's looked like a beast. Things are really starting to come together, specifically for the defense, that I'm like, man, I kind of want to see what this team can do if they do get in the playoffs, because they're just fun. They're just exciting. They're playing well in games. They're giving you a reason to watch on Sundays. And again, we have a Sunday where they're not playing. They're playing the Jaguars next week. That's a winnable game. That's a winnable game for you. You got the Vikings coming home the week after that. That's a winnable game because, again, you almost beat the Vikings earlier in the season. You had the game. And you lost it. And the Lions are undefeated at home against division opponents. They've only played the Packers so far at home, but keep winning games against the division, man. Keep solidifying yourself as the second best team in the division. Keep solidifying yourself as the team with the brightest future. I think that's there. I think that's all on the table for you. It's just about how they manage these next few seasons, these next few games, even. Like it all depends on what they do with what they have right now. Because it's good right now. Things are going good. Dan Campbell's starting to win games. He's already won more games this year than he did last year. That's drastic improvement. He hasn't even gotten his quarterback yet. Our coach Dan Campbell has not had a chance to draft a quarterback, and I am a little bit in the spot where I could see the Lions giving Jared Goff one more year. I really could. That being said, you have to cash in on the quarterbacks that you know have potential to be great quarterbacks in the NFL. You have to cash in on those. And there are guys in college football. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Caleb Williams, all those guys, Hendon Hooker. There's so many guys that I look at and I'm like, these guys could be great ballers, great quarterbacks on this team. Just trying to imagine any one of those guys on this Lions team right now and the damage that they could do and the damage that they'll do next year with Jamison Williams. Like, I can't even get started on how many people are going to be talking up the Lions this offseason. And I am not really excited about that. I kind of hate when national media talks up the Lions because then everybody comes into this next year and takes the Lions a lot more seriously and they can't really sneak up on people. That's when the Lions sneak up on people, is when they're down and out, when they're 1-6. So whatever they can do, I really am. It's once you once you win more games in a season than you did the season before as a Lions fan, I love that. I love that. You were 3-13-1 last year. Would it be devastating if this team lost the last 6 games to finish 4-13? Of course it would be. Of course it would be. Would it be is it totally unrealistic for me to think that this team can win 6 straight football games? Yeah, maybe. It probably is a little unrealistic to think that. It's just once you start, they had a lot of things go their way. They could have easily lost that Packers game. They could have easily lost that Bears game. A lot of things are going to have to break your way for that to happen and for you to make the playoffs or for anything like that. And I know that's just stupid because obviously if the Lions were to make the playoffs, it just would be a tremendous failure and they'd get beat and, it would be brutal. But I do think it is worth rewarding your fans with a playoff game if you are able to do it. And again, you can lose maybe one more game and finish 9-8, go 5-1 in these last 6. That would be an incredible finish to the season. It's not likely. I think probably what's likely is this team splits and goes 3-3. I think they can beat the Jaguars. I think that they can beat the Panthers and the Bears and the Packers. I'm gonna take it back. I think they can beat all 6 of these teams. That's the craziest thing is I'm looking at this and I'm like, the Lions can win 6 games here and they can finish 10-7 and they can make the playoffs. They can do that. That's on the table for them. It's not going to happen. It would be a dream for them to go 5-1 and finish 9-8. What's likely going to happen is they're going to finish 4-2 or 3-3 or even worse 2-4. They're going to finish right there in that middle range, which is okay with me. Because again, that's a drastic improvement from last year, and they're starting. The future of the Lions is starting to come together. You're starting to be able to see it a little bit more. Jamison Williams warming up before Thanksgiving Thursday has a lot of Lions fans excited, and it should because that he's fast. He's a freak of nature. He's a Tyreek Hill kind of player. Maybe not that fast, but he provides a lot of speed to your team. And I'm really, really excited to see what he's going to bring to the offense next year. I mean, my mind's just spinning. Think about what Ben Johnson's going to do with that. He's done so much with such little before that I'm really, really excited. And I say such little. I mean, guys like Khalif Raymond and DJ Chark, those guys are fantastic players. Don't get me wrong. They've done great. But I'm just saying Jameson Williams is a step up from those guys. So Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and throwing whoever at the third receiver, I don't care. That plus DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, and a new quarterback, maybe, or another season of Jared Goff, I don't care. I mean, this team's playing well. They're playing great. They're playing hard, and they're building in the draft. Brad Holmes is doing what we brought him over to do, find guys in the later rounds of the draft that can prove to be superstars. And I'm not saying that Lee McNeil and Malcolm Rodriguez are superstars, no, but they're NFL starters and they're great football players. They're hitting where they need to right now, and it's paying off in big ways. It's paying off in big ways. Winning NFL games is huge, and that's all I really care about. I mean, listen, I rate the Lions off to win the Super Bowl for the rest of my life every single year. So I don't care if this team doesn't make the playoffs and ends up with a worse draft position. The Rams suck, and you have the Rams draft pick. You're going to have 2 first-round picks this year. That's huge, okay? And not every team is going for the same dudes. If you want to get a quarterback, you'll find a quarterback. There's a lot of quarterbacks in this draft. You may not get the number one choice that you want, but not often does the number one choice in the draft work out. So I'm sitting on house money right now, and I'm loving what I'm seeing. And as long as they keep winning, I'm going to keep believing. I have not a reason to stop. I know they didn't beat the Bills on Thanksgiving Thursday, and that 6-game losing streak on the holiday definitely sucks, but they were competitive in that game. And that's more than I thought I'd be able to say at this point in the year. And I think they should have freaking won the game. I'm still upset. I'm not excusing the poor coaching decisions at the end of the game, but I'm just saying the coach put them in position to win the game. So just because he didn't make the right call in the moment doesn't mean he's not a good coach. I still believe in him. Of course, things are building in the right direction here. I'm all on board. Again, I'm just going to sit back, enjoy this NFL Sunday, root for certain teams to lose. I'm rooting for the Falcons to lose. I'm rooting for all the NFC teams that are ahead of the Lions and rooting for them to lose. Hell, I'd love to see the Niners lose tonight. I'm blanking on who the Niners have. They're 9.5-point favorites. I can't believe I don't know off the top of my head. They play the Saints. Saints are a team that you're battling with in the playoffs, but you'd love for the 49ers to stay at 6 wins and drop to 6-5 because that keeps the door open for you. I know the door's not wide open at 4-7, but the door is still open. So keep chasing, keep trying, bite kneecaps. Don't be a team that quit. Be the team that can and will. I believe in all that still. I'm going to keep writing it until they completely take the hope away from me, which could happen. They could lose to the Jaguars next week, and I could be completely out forever. But until then, I'm going to keep seeing where it goes. So go Lions. Thank you guys for checking in. Check out the other people on DSP Media online and the podcast network. If you like this show, see what the other guys are bringing to the table. If you like Steelers football, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Texas A&M, all that is on the DSP Media Network. Go check out all those other shows and keep following along for more. And, go Lions.